right. Also, Angela Merkel is on the wires right now, the leader of Germany, saying this refugee crisis shows how vulnerable the world is, and particularly Germany, responding to protests in her country that these are dangerous folks we're allowing in, and they've been behind a lot of violence, certainly over the New Year's weekend, a number of rapes and the like, that the German leader says are a reflection of just a few bad apples, not the whole bunch. But she says the crisis shows that we're vulnerable because we're not yet imagining things as we would like to and do not have the order we would like to have. I don't know what German is for duh, but apparently the bottom line is that that is the whole world's problems with all of this. But we've got the retired U.S. Marine Corps General, former Commander, Chief of the U.S. Central Command, joining us with his take on all of these developments. I'm talking about General Anthony Zinni. General, good to have you.
Good to be with you, Neil.
What do you think of what Ms. Merkel is saying, that we have an obligation? I think she's saying there's not an order for this. We're not understanding how we go about this. But clearly she is trying to clamp down the anger in her country over all of this, and the fact that she is open to letting better than 1 million refugees in. Where is all this going, General?
Well, the problem is we're dealing with the symptoms and not the problem. I mean, the problem is obviously ISIS and Syria, the root cause of these refugee situations. And NATO should stand up to this. I mean, Germany's suffering a problem. France was attacked. Belgium has a problem. We've had San Bernardino, and yet no one invokes Article 5 and really deals with this. I think we should end this. We basically have a strategy of containment and slow attrition, and that's going to continue to cause these problems of refugees, potential attacks, and we need to stand up to the challenge.
General, I'd be curious. The President in his State of the Union address is going to feature a Syrian refugee, a doctor who lost his wife and daughter and other family members in a Syrian attack led, I guess, or orchestrated by Bashar al-Assad, and he's going to hold the good doctor out and as an example of what many of these refugees really are, just innocent victims seeking asylum. How effective do you think that will be?
Well, I don't think that's going to play well back here. I mean, certainly I sympathize with the refugees and those that are in dire straits. But again, we're not dealing with the problem. There are going to be more refugees, more atrocities committed, more potential attacks here. Vetting these refugees causes internal political issues and problems here, Germany, France, elsewhere. And again, you've got to go to the root of the problem and resolve it and not continue to treat these symptoms.
Now, I'm wondering whether Republicans have any better response. Some of them have been saying, anyone from don't allow any more refugees in, to Donald Trump's case, don't allow any more Muslims in. Where do you stand on this, General?
Well, first of all, I don't think we should take this out on all Muslims. Many of the Muslims in the region have suffered at the hands of ISIS and have suffered at the hands of other Muslims, and many of them, in my experience, have fought by our side against these problems. And so this is not an issue of Muslims. It is an issue of making sure we do vet the refugees. It is a case of making sure we try to get them back home and solve the problems back there. I was involved in the operation where we had to deal with the Kurds that went into the hills after the first Gulf War. And the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees told us, bring them home. Don't create more refugee camps. Don't create more displaced persons and refugees around the world. And we did that. We went into northern Iraq, into Kurdistan, and we brought them home, and we resolved the problem. That's the solution, not worrying about where these go and who they are.
Do you, I know you've worked for Republican presidents, Democratic presidents. You're a straight shooter. You're your own guy. I've always admired that because you're a fair and balanced critic when it comes to leadership issues. I'm wondering, in this cast of characters now, General, I don't mean to call them characters, by the way, but the candidates running for president, the Republican side, Democratic side, have you gone out and announced support of any of them, anyone?
No, I haven't. And I will tell you, the big question in my mind is who's best suited to be commander-in-chief. Frankly, I haven't heard that question in all the debates that have gone on. I would love to see, and this may be something for you in the upcoming debates, ask the question, do you understand what it means to be commander-in-chief? that you've got to present the kind of strategy that our military, our diplomats can deal with, the political objectives that we have to accomplish, the partnerships around the world, and alliances to share the burden, to take on these challenges, North Korea, Syria, ISIS, economic challenges that are related to security issues in many ways. So I'm looking for the best fitted. I don't think I've seen anyone yet that really understands that role of commander-in-chief.
I'm curious, with Lindsey Graham now out of the race, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, General, we do not have a veteran in the bunch. Does that make a difference to you? Does that worry you?
Not necessarily. You know, we've gone to war with those that haven't been veterans in the Second World War and in the First World War. You know, someone that's strong on national security, someone that understands how to use power in a measured way and an appropriate way. More importantly, those that understand the military. Look, we're more consumed now worrying about whether we're going to put women in the infantry than we're worried about dealing with these problems that we face out there. I mean, we've got our priorities all screwed up in terms of what the security issues are and what the need for power appropriately applied is.
All right, real quickly, I know you were on a short list as Barack Obama's potential running mate when he wanted to reassure folks that he would be tough on defense, and you could have helped in a large way there. Many have urged you to run for office. There was that dabbling with a Senate run. I mean, how do you feel about that? Or you just feel retired generals should be retired generals and stay out of it?
I'm not interested in politics. I don't know of any short list that I was on, but certainly I was not interested. I don't like politics.
I remember that short list. I don't think that was, you know, pie in the sky stuff. I do remember that.
Well, Neil, you have insights that I didn't have, but at any rate, I wouldn't have taken the bait.
All right, but in other words, you're saying no for now as far as entertaining a political career.
Not just for now. I'm not interested in politics.
All right, General, I'll take that as a no. Always good seeing you, sir. Happy New Year.
Good to see you, Neil. Happy New Year.
General Zinni.